I have seen people literally lose hundreds of pounds, change their cravings, improve their own health, and they get the win. It's a free alternative to Ozempic.
Today, world-renowned insulin and fasting expert Mindy Pelz reveals how to burn belly fat fast by lowering your insulin hormone levels with the help of her 3 special fasting methods: eating 5 specific daily foods which keep insulin levels low, and a powerful insulin trick that 99% of people miss to strip stubborn weight while sleeping. For effective weight loss to take place, our body needs to be in a fasted state. Let's first understand what happens in a fasted state.
What is a fasted state? As my blood sugar starts to drop, what's going to happen is my body's going to switch over into this other energy system. When it switches over into this fat-burning energy system, it starts to make a byproduct called a ketone. And that ketone will go up into the brain and it starts to repair your brain, which is why people, when they fast, are like, their mental clarity goes up, their cognition improves, their brain fog goes away, because you're literally giving a fuel source to your brain that it may never have been given before.
When insulin stays low, your body flips into the fat-burning mode. But if you snack constantly, you never switch. That's why mastering insulin is the ultimate hack. How can I do effective fasting? This is the first of her 3 powerful fasting methods for weight loss.
You switch over into this fat-burning place. So at 8 hours, you start to make the switch. By about 12 hours, your body's now starting to make a good dose of ketones. The brain is excited, so you're getting that mental clarity. Ketones turn off the hunger hormone. Mm-hmm. So you also, when you switch over, there's going to be a point in which you're not hungry. And that all happens at about 12 hours. But you're also, if you stay there a little longer, if you stay there and you go 14 hours, 15 hours. So check this out. Research shows at 15 hours, we see growth hormone go up. Okay, growth hormone is the hormone that keeps you young and helps you burn fat. We also see in men 1,300% increase in testosterone just from somewhere between a 13 to 15 hour fast. And then we start to see inflammation go down. So all of a sudden, if you have people who have like joints that are hurting, they start doing 15 hours of fasting every day and they're like, God, my joints just don't have that same stiffness in them anymore.
This is the 15-hour fast that reduces your insulin levels, extend your fast past breakfast, and you tap into deep repair, hormone balance, and belly fat loss. But Dr. Pelz is even more excited about this next fasting method that targets specifically stubborn belly fat.
Fat burner fast is probably my favorite for those people who want to lose weight. The research was done that 36 hours without food, followed by 12 hours of eating, that at 36 hours, what happens is that's enough time where the blood sugars come down, where all of a sudden the body, it's so smart. It goes, okay, blood sugar's not coming. We've been in this fasted state. We've triggered autophagy. We've brought inflammation down. We've made you ketones. We're trying to go find food, but this extra weight, it's not serving you. Because remember, you got to go find food. So it drops weight. And it's the most beautiful way to get a person to unstick any kind of weight loss resistance. But most importantly, you know where it dropped the most amount of weight from? Where does everybody want to lose weight?
Belly.
Yep. So it is probably should have called it the belly fat burning.
Yeah, the belly fat. Yeah, that would have banged. Yeah.
But yeah, and so that's what they showed, is that actually a 36-hour fast started to unstick weight loss, and it was started with weight around the belly.
Because insulin resistance often shows up in the gut first, the 36-hour reset clears stored glucose, lowers insulin, and finally unlocks stubborn belly fat. But what if your food cravings and stubborn belly fat stores had nothing to do with hunger and everything to do with broken dopamine receptors? No problem, as she explains how to fix it.
When people go without food for 48 hours, the whole dopamine system will be rebooted. So what's important to know about the dopamine system is it is our molecule of happiness. It is the thing that it's actually a motivation molecule. And it's a neurotransmitter that allows happy thoughts to go across from neuron to neuron. And so what happens, and I'm sure you've talked about this on your podcast, that we're so dopamine saturated right now, but specifically people who are overeaters, They actually are finding, the study I quote in the book is that they found that people who had food addiction, people who had extra weight, like obese situations, they were not getting as much happiness out of their food because their dopamine receptor sites were saturated. So they had to eat more food to get more happiness. And food is a state changer. It does make us happy. So what they found is if they put them into a 48-hour fast, that they actually rebooted the whole dopamine system and new dopamine receptor sites appeared. So that when they brought food back in to the equation, they actually got more enjoyment out of food with less food.
Reset dopamine, and suddenly sugar loses its grip. Insulin levels drop, cravings vanish, and fat loss accelerates. Next, she shares top 5 foods she frequently consumes to maximize the benefits of fasting. When you eat these foods together with fasting, your insulin levels stay low and fat burns off faster than ever. First off, protein.
Alan's research shows that a high-protein diet is highly effective for weight loss. Okay, you know what else is highly effective for weight loss? Fasting. Okay, what if we pair a protein-rich diet with a fasting lifestyle? Boom! Now we have a really good game for losing weight. So one of the reasons that protein is so powerful for weight loss is that it increases thermogenesis. So those of you that have walked around and said, my metabolism is slow, all you're saying is that you have decreased thermogenesis. Thermo means temperature, genesis means to begin. So if we want to up our temperature and get that energy, that energy burning system, kind of like a fire going, you're going to do it through protein. And you're going to eat 1 gram of protein for every pound of body weight you are. But the couple of studies were really interesting. One of them's on women. So a 2002 study found that women eating a high protein diet doubled their thermogenesis. Okay, let me just put those in words that we can all understand. Women eating a high protein diet doubled their sugar burning metabolism capabilities. Okay, that's a reason to eat protein.
Protein protects lean mass, powers muscle, your biggest insulin sponge, and keeps glucose stable after fasting. Combine protein-rich meals with intermittent fasting, and you're teaching your body to burn fat while preserving strength. Is it possible one single fruit could smooth your blood sugar spikes and balance hormones better than medication? Her favorite food to break fast with is avocado.
I love breaking a fast with fat. Why would you break a fast with fat? The reason is it kills the hunger hormone. So it'll shut off the hunger hormone. You say, okay, I'm going to eat fat first, and then I'm going to wait an hour before I eat anything else. If you do that little trick, you're going to find within an hour, you're not going to want to eat what you thought you might want to eat. That immediate desire to boomerang will go away. I often break my fast with an avocado. Super easy, just cut it in half, eat it. I was recently interviewed on Tom Bilyeu's Impact Theory podcast. And at the end, he asked me if I had one food I could take on a desert island with me, what would it be? And I said an avocado, because that's how much I love an avocado. So not only does it stabilize your blood sugar, but it also gives good fat to the brain. So remember, the brain is 50% fat. So it thrives when we give it fat.
Avocados slow down glucose spikes, fuel your brain, and keep insulin low, making them a fat loss superfood. Next, bitter foods. Ever wonder why no one craves bitter foods? But they might be the missing key to fat loss, especially when combined with avocado.
I do a lot of sauerkrauts, kimchis. I'll take an avocado and put kimchi and sauerkraut on top, and I combine that probiotic rich with a fat. That's my most common way I break a fast. But now you're replenishing these good bacteria. You're feeding these good bacteria first that are going to help you lose weight. Our bitter foods. This is your radicchio, your dandelion. This is lemon and ginger. These are bitter foods. And what bitter foods do is not only do they support good gut health, but they support your liver. And when we look at hormones, on one hand, we need to make hormones. So when we look at like the avocado, we're helping to support the making of estrogen. When we look at bitter foods and we go, okay, it supports the liver, it supports the gut, That is imperative to be able to help you break down the hormones that you produced. So liver health is key, and there's no better set of foods like bitter foods to be able to help you support a healthy liver so you can break all the sex hormones down, not just estrogen.
Bitter foods detoxify the liver, reduce estrogen dominance, and keep insulin balanced. That means less bloating, less stubborn fat, and smoother hormone cycles. To make sure you are really losing weight effectively, she also explains the importance of a specific type of fish.
That is, are you ready? Fatty fish. Okay, I know, some of you don't like fish. Some of you would prefer to take fish oil supplements. When we're talking about fatty fish, they are not the most tasty one. Although I get that some of you love these. Sardines. Sardines is a fatty fish. Mackerel, fatty fish. Cod is a fatty fish. So a 2010 study found that people who took omega-3 fish oil supplements for 6 weeks saw a significant decrease in body fat. A large reason is because when you have this right balance of omega-3, 6, and 9 fatty acids, that balance brings inflammation down. So they may have seen body fat go down. Remember, I just walk through this with me as I teach you this, that fat is where your body stores toxins and hormones and extra excess that it doesn't know what to do with. So when we get our omega-3, 6, 9 balance in order and we're doing really well there, then the those cells specifically are more efficient at bringing in the nutrients in and letting the toxins out. And so that cell, the 72 trillion cells in your body, become a much more effective healing mechanism, and they're not rejecting hormones, they're not rejecting nutrients, they're not keeping those toxins inside, so there's no need to store fat. So dialing in that omega-3, 6, 9 balance is really important, and eating fatty fish can help. Olive oil. You want to make sure that it's organic. You want to make sure that it's never rancid. So you want to smell it. Like, it shouldn't live in your countertop. It shouldn't live in your cupboards for a long time. If it goes rancid, it's not going to stimulate autophagy. It'll actually create cellular inflammation. The other thing you don't want to do with olive oil is heat it up. So if you heat it up and put it on a pan and it starts to smoke, you've now turned it into an inflammatory fat. The research on olive oil is also really cool in the sense that they're finding that it has an effect on the beta amyloid and tau proteins that are associated with Alzheimer's. They also have been doing studies on olive oil with cancer. So it was done on metastatic osteosarcoma, but try to use as much olive oil as possible. I would even say you could take a scoop of it and have a tablespoon a day if you're looking, especially, you could even do that within your fasting window.
Could something as small as flaxseed or pumpkin seed actually rewire your hormones and stop weight gain? For women to balance out their hormones and drive down insulin, she recommends special type of seeds.
And there are 2 types of seeds I want you to eat, and they help 2 different hormones. The estrogen hero seed of the day are flax seeds. So more flax seeds, specifically flax oil. I love putting flax oil on my salads. Sometimes when I'm feeling like I just need to break down estrogen a little bit more, my skin feels dry, mucosal membranes are a little dry, I'll do more flaxseed. And so it's great for breaking down and supporting. It does both, supporting estrogen. Whereas pumpkin seeds, which are really yummy, support progesterone and the breakdown of progesterone. So hopefully you've heard of seed cycling.
When hormones balance, insulin sensitivity improves. That's why seed cycling is one of the easiest ways to support fat loss naturally. There is also one bonus drink that she strongly recommends for fat loss, but only in moderation.
Coffee. So a 2023 study showed that 1,400 participants that drank a cup of caffeinated coffee every morning increased fat loss. People who drank more than 1 cup didn't see that change. What's really interesting about this study is that, and this thought is that you don't want to do more than a cup, and you always want it to be clean. Just like I want you to do the meat clean, you want the coffee to be clean, and this is not a more is better moment of coffee. This is 1 cup to increase fat loss. That was what was shown.
Most people think fat burning happens only with nutrition and in the gym. But what if your deepest fat loss happens while you're asleep?
The best time to lose weight and burn belly fat is when you're sleeping. I'm not joking. Like literally when you sleep, you burn fat. But whoever thought that sleeping was an incredible tool for burning fat?
Dr. Mindy explains why eating late spikes insulin and stores fat overnight.
When melatonin goes up, you become more insulin resistant. So when you're eating at 8, 9 o'clock at night, when it's dark out, melatonin's going up. So that meal, your body is not going to be able to make the insulin to drive glucose into the cell. So that glucose from your meal is going to get stored as fat. So one of the really interesting hacks is just don't eat in the dark. Like eat when it's light out because melatonin production is down. But a general rule that I use for myself is I don't eat 2 hours before going to bed. When I do eat every once in a while, like if I'm traveling or family, we all sit down very late sometimes, then I hate that because I can see it on my Oura ring that my deep sleep, my REM sleep, my whole sleep goes off. But again, we're not looking at sleep as this fat burning tool. So stop eating 2 hours before you go to bed. And in that, let's try to eat in the light, not in the dark.
If you're over 50 and serious about fat loss, you need to watch as weight loss guru Dr. Jason Fung explains which 5 daily foods burn fat faster than Ozempic.